shine light into every crack and crevice, man, where, Black people are suffering in, and I feel like our people need to see people amongst them practicing righteousness from whatever particular core ideology, they're moving in, whether they're 5%, ourself, Lord and Master, whether they're, practicing Islam, ourself, Lord and Master, whether they're talking or practicing Christ consciousness, you know what I mean? Whatever level of righteousness that you're striving to flood your being and overflow into your cipher, into your neighborhood, we need some of us to let go of any and everything that has hampered you or hindered you as an individual and us as a collective. It's time for us to step out and shine our lights and not be worried about people, misunderstanding or purposefully misunderstanding or trying to slander or trying to, snuff out our light so that they can continue to get paid, or find empowerment in being those parasites and those thugs and those criminals, man. Like we gotta deal with us, and like someone said, I'm not looking for white people to come in and be the referee to bring justice and peace to my neighborhood, and amongst us. That's our responsibility. But the only way that we can do that is we got to bring justice and light to our own lives first. We can't be, halfway in the streets and halfway in, the heaven of our own thoughts, man. We cut and short circuit our own power, So, believe me, righteousness is a practice. It's not a conclusion. And it's not just about what you know. It's about what you're able to actually, embody in your habits, in your actions, and in your behaviors. That self-mastery is really what you want to move towards. You need to be able to show that consciousness is actually something that's, valuable. And the only way you can show that is to live that life, and show, our people that it's not lame. What you trying to kick some knowledge? You know what I mean? Remember that?
Yeah, because right now they disrespecting even the power of the word consciousness is like in a community that's got a negative vibe. It's like, what? For real? I know you seen it, bro. Like they be really bashing like the consciousness. Like I'm like, how you gonna bash something that you ain't even reach yet? But I mastered the art of being humble, because I know I used to respond with the wrath of my tongue. I I go in, sometimes I do it, I practice it with sports, like in that group that we in, BruthaMikeX. I mean, that's how I get mine off, like on some sports stuff where I don't have to, when they attacking on other pages or coming at me, like I got people inbox me all types of stuff, but it's like being humble is like the first part of reaching righteousness and just mastering self is being humble to know that the fact that you was once there, you was once them, and that's the way I move. Like especially on the west side.
That came in my life that impacted me on a positive way. Very early, very very. I was fortunate for it to happen for me very very early in my life. To be exposed to individuals, or simply to know of a Malcolm X, to know of a John Henry Clark, or, to know of a Khalid Muhammad, whomever, somebody made a conscious decision to be a light, and a light does not and cannot determine who decides to indulge in this luminosity. Okay. It just shines. If you want to be in the light, step into the light. If you don't want to be in the light, stay in the dark. You feel what I'm saying? But a light just does what it's responsible for doing, shine. So that everybody, has some type of who they can indulge in it, in its luminosity, man. You don't have to, I don't worry about whether somebody, takes what I say, or I don't worry about what decisions people make in regards to who they want to be, who they want to display themselves as. But I just try to be the alternative to the nigga shit. Yeah, I try to be the alternative. Just be. And if me just being who I am piques their curiosity and they start to inquire with me, and then I'll just spoon feed them. Feed them a bit.
It's one of my main.
Not impose.
I believe one of my main disciplines is, and like Mike X always say, it's not about being holier than thou. It's about a practice, right? And it's about offsetting what used to be what took us to that dark spot, offsetting that with a different behavior, a behavior with dignity, something that we can look up to, something we can be proud of, something that the children can look up to and say, you know what, I'm gonna mimic that. I want to be just like her. And that's what was missing for me coming up. And that's why it's so important for me to shed off certain behaviors, certain attitudes, especially with what I call the nigga, killing the nigga in you and me. And like, I don't know what brother said, that you kill a nigga in you, I kill the nigga in me, and let's work together. Let's reason together. Because somehow that ego and all that negative stuff that just have been conditioned and programmed us, like brother said, brainwashed us to being something earthly, no good. We definitely got to offset that by being our best selves. And that is destroying that negative self-hatred. It's in the inside of each and every one of us. Probably, I know I battle with some thoughts daily. Oh, what am I thinking about? I'm talking about me, y'all. That's why I said, kill the nigga in me. I'm not trying to kill nobody but me. So I can.
Right, like BruthaMikeX said, Tupac said, the hate you gave little infants fucks everybody.
That's what thug like.
And yeah, basically that's what we're at today. That's what we're dealing with. That's what I see as far as the youth. Not all of them, but their mentality, the trickle down effect of the DNA of what we came out of and our parents came out of and grandparents came out of, but the conditioning has been so hard and so fierce that it actually trickled down to our seeds. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not even a learned behavior no more,
Hey, that's deep.
It's on autopilot.
Basically, right.
Yeah. What would our communities begin to look like if we stopped focusing on, how evil white people are and started focusing on how powerful we can be, right, by our practice of higher truths, our practice of loving ourselves, our practice of godliness or self-mastery? What would our communities begin to look like? How would our lives, what would our lives begin to look like? I'd like to see that, before I die. At one point in time of my life, I thought that being conscious was being fixated on white people and how, effed up they've done us, they've been towards us and how effed up they're being now. I looked at knowledge of self as really at that time being knowledgeable about the enemy, but then I graduated into a mindset of, how could I know my enemy if I don't know myself? I got to know myself in order to determine the enemy of that self, and knowing myself is not like a set philosophy. Knowing myself is exploring, my capabilities, I create the usage of my creativity, skills, and talents with courage and faith, and not worrying about how I'm going to be regarded, by former friends and others, who want me to stay stuck in a love company trauma bonding paradigm, because that's what we do in these communities. We trauma bond. Misery loves company. We trauma bond. Oh, you don't like this job? I don't like this job either, So let's talk about, let's spend some time together talking about just how much we don't like this job.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you don't like this neighborhood, I don't like this neighborhood either. Or you know, let's spend some time together not liking this neighborhood. You know, this is what some of us have, you know, we call life, but that's not life, you know? So in order for you to want for your brother what you want for yourself, you first got to begin to determine and practice what is it that you want for yourself in the light of love and truth, you know? What is it that you want? You know, what is it that you have faith enough and courage enough, man, to claim as your own? You know? And these are some of the things that I would like to introduce. I'm not trying to tell nobody what to do, and I'm not going to spend an inordinate amount of time trying to convince anyone. I've already done that. You know, I already spent the majority of my adulthood trying to save my people. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm not really even trying to save. I want to be able to influence other people, you know, by being a loving, compassionate, you know, empathetic, you know, courageous individual in this day and time, man. And, you know, people could take it or leave it alone the way I feel at this point, you know. But
Right.
there is a price that's being paid though, you know, if we're sensitive enough to see it. You know, like I said, you know, I've worked my whole adult life, man, in child welfare. And child welfare is set up on the destruction of the Black family. You know,
Hey.
no matter what part of child welfare you're working in, whether it's group homes, whether it's foster care, whether it's you know, the juvenile justice system that I'm working in now, all of it is set up making money and contracts, you know what I mean, and grants and all types of, you know, initial, you know, it's all set up, man, about managing the destruction of the Black family for the most part, you know. And
You will always have a job.
I work with young people who are throwing their lives away, taking lives and throwing away their lives in the balance, you know, shooting, you know, murders, homicide. I'm talking about baby face assassins, man. I'm talking about little kids that you would see coming down the block and you'd be like, oh man, he must be on his way to go help his mom out, or, you know, to go play somewhere or whatever. Like, nah, that dude has been turned into a vampire. That dude has been turned into a bloodsucker, you know, of his own kind, you know. So we got to do something about it. Where are we going to live? Where are we going to set up shop if we start talking about we're going to revive the Black village? Where's that going to be? And who do we think we're going to have to contend with when we do start that building? It's not just going to be white people, you know?
Right.
So,
like even I'm sorry, but Tai, Veronica, y'all remember that young boy from Chicago, Yummy?
Yeah, in 100.
Yeah, Yami Sanderson.
Time ago. Yeah.
So me being from LA, right, I was young, man. To see him on that Jet magazine as a young age and read that at a young age, like that's when I knew something about myself, that I cared about my people too much, you know. Not saying it's an issue, but like when I seen that story, the same way Tupac reacted to it, you know, Tupac almost got messed up then, you know, but it's that type of compassion I feel like I'm filled with. Like, that's not gonna ever change, like, for me. Because it started at a young age, even when I wasn't knowledge of self. Like, I felt for that, you know, and just the conditions of our people, that somebody that young, you know what I'm saying, was trapped in his own mindset and conditions, you know, and that's a lot of our young boys now, you know.
Yeah, but Yami was conditioned, like you just said. He was conditioned based on that same mentality, that nigga mentality that we was just speaking about. That was basically embedded in him.
Right.
Right. He learned that behavior from the individuals that influenced his life, from the men that were in his life, from the women that were in his life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like we can learn negative behaviors, we can also learn behaviors that empower us. Right. We can also learn behaviors that are conducive to, uplifting us, man, because we're in a bad situation right now. We're in a bad position right now.
But we're also in a good one. That's the MAAT. We're in a bad situation, but the fact that we have the knowledge of self to be able to see where stuff needs to be fixed. And
we have it, but the knowledge has to be, information has to be disseminated.
Yeah. So that means we got work to do.
Right.
That's all that means.
The greatest display of love is the greatest display of love is to be of service.
All right.
You know what I mean? And for all of us to sit here on this platform and to really just be concerned with our own self-development, which we should be, but at some point we have, with that knowledge and power comes the responsibility to be of service and uplift all fallen humanity, right?
That's our responsibility as being.
It's not, it's not an obligation to impose on people.
Nah. It's just our responsibility to take care of the universe, basically, what I'm saying. Like, this is what we are ordained to do. We are universal people. So the only way the universal verse moves is with us. And if our number is like decreasing, look how the universe reacts and responds. You got a whole bunch of weird weather going on. You got them talking about meteors about to hit Earth. This is what they want to tell us, but I look at it as, it's just the universe talking. The universe is speaking. The universe is not happy. And it's just getting back in tune with the universe, getting back in tune with the vibration of the universe. That's that spirituality you should be talking about, like to be in tune with it. So you really know what's going on with you. And then you could guide your path. You can go in the directions you're going.
Yeah, spirituality, self-mastery, it all, plays a part. But you have to know that those avenues are available in order to explore them, right? Somebody has to make you privy to those options being available, or those avenues being accessible, to anybody. Somebody has to make you aware that they exist, And again, I'm grateful for those who poured into my cup. I'm eternally indebted, and I pay my indebtedness by, allowing others to, again, light their wicks from my flame, being the light, and not caring about who, or picking and choosing who chooses to indulge in, in that light.
So yeah, I want to say this. I know we like running over, but imagine we did regain our identity, our purpose, and we purge ourselves from these behaviors that would not allow us to grow. Imagine what that'll look like for us in our community and for children coming up after us. Just imagine what type of imprint that'll put in their minds, their souls, and their hearts, who they can be. That's why I strive my best to kill that behavior, those old bad habits, those attitudes, anything that causes me to be stuck or impede my growth. That's the stuff I'm looking to purge myself from. I know it'll look like, it'll be a beautiful thing if we had children living in a purpose, like being doctors, lawyers, and other things other than going to the penitentiary.
Or being a basketball player, or a singer, a rapper,
or a hustler,
right?
Or a pimp, or a pimp, or a human trafficker,
Right.
Yes, these are the reasons why it's important to purge ourselves from those old toxic behaviors. And And two, I wanted to hit on some stuff me and T.I. was talking about when it comes to even when you practicing and you killing off that sloth that's stopping you. You know, we want to get into behaviors that we can practice, you know, disciplines that we can do, we can practice daily. It will put us in a place that we can grow and develop and master ourselves, master those old behaviors. Maybe, you know, my thing is sweets, Ty. You know, I got a problem with sweets. You know, I'm like, I'm killing that. I'm going to destroy that because that is not fitting for me at all.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Just simple things like that we got to practice, you know?
Yeah. Yo, brother John, man, I was laughing, man, because you done changed your background about 3 or 4 times.
I'm having fun with this thing, just learning it. You know? I'm sitting here messing around with it, you know, just learning. So we could. I'm gonna. Welcome back. So you really know what's going on, which I'm gonna.